So today we're tackling a pretty big idea about Superman. The argument is that a lot of modern takes on the character, they just get him wrong. They miss the entire point of what makes him, well, Superman.
All right, so let's just jump right in with the big question, right? What is the real essence of Superman? And here's the thing. According to our source material, when creators mess him up, it's not because they forget he can fly or shoot lasers from his eyes. No, it's because they forget what he's actually for.
And that right there, that's the whole key. It's not about the muscles or the powers. It's about getting the idea of Superman. If you miss that, the whole thing it falls apart.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the core idea of Superman, then we'll talk about him as a mythic symbol and contrast that with this other approach, one that kind of wants to tear him down. From there, we'll see how that affects the whole DC universe, and we'll end by asking the big question. Is he an ideal, or is he just a punchline?
All right, first section. Let's lay the groundwork here. The whole argument hinges on this. Superman's real power, it's not his strength, it's his presence.
You know, the source brings up this really fascinating example. It's a behind-the-scenes photo of Henry Cavill. He's in an early version of the suit. He hadn't even finished bulking up for the role yet. But look at him, the posture, the gaze. It's just pure certainty. There's no doubt, no anxiety. That one still photo screams Superman louder than a ton of finished action sequences. It really proves the point, doesn't it? It's all about the presence.
Okay, so if he's a symbol, what does that mean for his conflicts? Well, it completely changes the game. See, the argument is, the second you make Superman just another guy reacting to the chaos, you've lost him. You've erased his whole reason for being. He's not supposed to be about the physical fight. He is the moral fight. Think about it, the most powerful being alive, and every single day he has to wake up and choose to be good, to be compassionate, instead of just taking over. That's his real battle.
And if you want a perfect example of how to challenge Superman the right way, look no further than the courtroom scene in Batman v Superman. He's not punched. He's cornered by blame, by doubt, by public pressure. And for the first time, his powers, his super senses, they fail him. But why? Not because of some sound weapon, but because he is just mentally and spiritually overwhelmed. His spirit is broken, not his body. That's his true failure. And it's so much more interesting than a fistfight.
Okay, so that's one philosophy. Now let's flip the coin and look at the total opposite, what our source calls the deconstructionist approach. This is all about making heroes relatable by, well, tearing them apart.
This is a style you might recognize, often associated with a filmmaker like James Gunn. The idea is you take these big, revered heroes and you break them down. You show their flaws, their awkward moments, their insecurities. You make them messy. The thinking is that we, the audience, will connect more with a hero who gets embarrassed or feels insecure.
And look, that style can work. It works great for anti-heroes, for teams of misfits. But for Superman, the source argues it's pure poison. Why? Because Superman's weaknesses were never about being awkward at a party. They were about huge ethical choices. His struggle isn't on the battlefield, it's above it.
So you've got these two totally different visions, right? On one hand, you have the mythic ideal. It represents our potential. It's a standard we look up to. On the other hand, you have the relatable hero. He reflects our flaws. He's basically a coworker with superpowers. The first commands respect. The second invites us to laugh at him. And the moment you laugh at Superman, the whole idea, the awe, it just vanishes.
And this isn't just about one character, not by a long shot. When you weaken Superman, you actually weaken the entire DC universe around it. I mean, think about it, right? Superman is the benchmark. He's the yardstick. So if he's just some flawed guy who gets knocked around all the time, what does that do to everyone else? Suddenly, a cosmic threat like Brainiac becomes just another big guy to punch. And what about Lex Luthor? His lifelong epic obsession with Superman suddenly looks kind of pathetic. If he's just feuding with a dude who has social anxiety, the stakes for everyone just plummet.
Which brings us to the final and maybe most important choice. What do we actually want from a hero like Superman? What's the point of his story?
The entire argument really boils down to this one incredible line. He is not the mirror. He is the standard. He's not supposed to be there to show us our own flaws back to us. Yeah, exactly. The whole point of Superman isn't to see ourselves in him. It's to see what humanity could become because of him. He's there to show us a better path, not to make us feel okay about our own mistakes. We have other heroes for that. Superman's job is to be aspirational.
You're not meant to relate to him on a bad day at the office level. You're supposed to look up to him. He's the god who chooses to serve humanity, not rule it.
And that takes us right back to the beginning, doesn't it? Back to that photo of Henry Cavill. The reason that version of the character resonates so much with people, according to this argument, isn't the fight scenes. It's the weight he carried, the mythic presence. When he was on screen, he was a force of nature that the entire world had to react to. And that's exactly what a myth should be.
So in the end, it leaves us with a really provocative question. Are we writing Superman to laugh at him or to believe in him? Because it's not really about the actor or the costume. It's about the idea. Superman is an idea, the idea of hope, the idea of ultimate power, choosing to be gentle. And if we lose that, if we choose to make him a punchline instead of an ideal, does the myth just die? And if it does, is he even Superman anymore?